Hi there, welcome back to another week of Counter-Strike game and skin market update. This is SkinomiCS2, and this video covers the 30th of June to the 7th of July 2025. As we dive into the second half of this year, this marks 3 months since the last change to the Armory Pass on the 1st of April. Most items within are still profitable, although the charms are slightly down this week as highlight charms from the major have been released. The 2 cases are still the best way to make some guaranteed profits if you play the game. Moving on, the champion stickers from the Austin Major were released on the 3rd. These stickers aren't very special this time around. The only addition is the small heading champion over the top of the sticker. Speaking of stickers, return on unboxing remains low, averaging between 30 and 45%. Players are waiting patiently for the 75% off discount for these. Note that both Chinese team and player stickers have firmly taken over to be the most expensive in their respective categories. Now, let's talk about the biggest news in Counter-Strike this week, and that is the release of charms. Souvenir packages redeemed from the playoff games in the Austin Major comes with charms that can be inspected while spectating others mid-game. These are pretty cool, although prices are unclear right now. Note that there are a total of 492 different highlights, which means getting any specific one is very difficult. Obviously, with my atrocious luck, I got nothing good from all the 5 packages that I unboxed. Additionally, 2 charms have stood out to be the favorites from the community. Let's have a look at them. The first is from Apex, which the CS2 Twitter account posted. It is great for obvious reasons. I took a clip of this second one from a user on Twitter. It shows the moment s1mple was taken out of the tournament due to a now very iconic miss.
The rest, no AWP for 9-10. We got an aggressor, and s1mple, oh, he's missed it! He knows what's up! No scope required! Oh no, a disaster for s1mple!
s1mple himself actually responded to the highlight. He said to rename it to "What you see is what you get," which I found to be quite humorous. Moving on, Valve has confirmed the Season 3 of Premier is coming on the 14th of July. Reminder to get an active rating with at least 25 wins before then to receive a medal for Season 2. CS Legacy, which was planned as a remake to CS 1.6 based on the public version of the Source engine, was shaped up to be a promising release. Unlike a previous project called Classic Offensive, this did not use Valve assets, and was supposedly not subjected to the same copyright issues causing Classic Offensive to shut down. However, they have announced this week that Valve has become unresponsive in communication, and will supposedly not allow the use of the Counter-Strike name. This is a shame to see, given Counter-Strike itself began as a mod to Half-Life, and the project appears to have been developed in line with Valve policies. The good news is that the team is now willing to transition to a different engine, with a different name completely. We'll just have to wait and see right now. Rebels, an esports team owned by the excellent football goalkeeper David De Gea, has disbanded following a period of limited success. They peaked at 44th on the VRS rankings, but has dropped to 84th at the time of disbandment. I also want to touch on the passing of the football striker, Diogo Jota, whom very sadly passed away this week. He was an avid Counter-Strike fan, and even planned the launch of a Counter-Strike roster with his esports team, Lunar Galaxy. The team currently competes in games such as Dota 2 and ESports FC. May he rest in peace. Finally, let's move on to our weekly craft idea. I have a craft that I genuinely adore this week, and it is Gengar from Pokemon. This can be done on any skin with a blank surface. Start by 2 shattered webs scraped to 10% as the ears at the bottom layer, 2 webs stuck scraped to 90% as the body in the second layer, and then Smoke Criminal 0% fully scraped as the face on the top layer. The total craft should cost about $6 US. Switching gears to market analysis, the SkinomiCS2 Index, which contains a list of items I use to represent the market, decreased by 1.87% this week. This is caused by the equal weighting which I give to higher and lower end items in my index, as we will come to see. The EsportFire Index, which contains the list of 300 high-value liquid items, shows prices continue to creep up, as it only contains the upper end of the market, which has done relatively well this week. Moving on to buff value of trade and trade volume data sourced from the cheap instant skin trading website itrade.gg. Volume and value of trade have remained relatively steady with an overall trend up in the past month. With the total value and volume data sourced from SteamDT, the trend line is more obviously increasing. This signifies more traders are trading outside of buff with their incremental volume in recent times. Now, let's break the skin market movements down this week into categories. Starting off with knives and gloves, this segment increases overall, although in my index, the fade gloves declined noticeably. Higher tiered weapon skins followed suit with an overall increase within the wider market. There have been pumps on a selection of items, of which only the Printstream M4 is part of my index. Agents declined this week, offsetting some of the massive gains they have had in the past 2 weeks. Last but not least, in the affordable weapon segment, we have seen significant declines, which signals that trading and demand are concentrated in the upper end of the market. Moving on, according to CS2 case tracker, case unboxing numbers have rebounded to 8.5 million this week. This is thanks to a couple famous streamers jumping on the case unboxing bandwagon. However, the wider news is not great. Average daily player numbers have declined for the 3rd consecutive month, despite peak players still hovering around 1.7 million on a daily basis. Regardless, cases had an amazing week. Non-active case prices did extremely well. Case holders will be super happy with this outcome. The same gains are across active cases as well. Specifically, the Recoil Case increased by almost 30%, which is an astonishing amount within a single week. Let's now take a glimpse at this week's biggest winners and losers. This week's winners have been made up of items that appear to have been subjected to pumps, with the exception for the constrictor gloves, as the Recoil Case has increased in price as we have just mentioned. Note that the Bullet Rain has done a 7 times increase in price since January. In losers, the Searing Rage from the Fever Case dropped significantly. So did most agents, which made up the remainder of the list. Onto the top trades of the week, also sourced from the skin trading site itrade.gg. The sales this week were all relatively cheaper AK skins, but with Cato 14 stickers applied. In the first place, it was an Empress with 4 Vox Holos selling for $44,000. Second and third places were both red lines, with an iBuy Power and a mixed holo crafted respectively. On CS Float, the sales were a bit boring. All 3 top trades were made up of Ruby Butterflies selling for $18,000 to $20,000 each. Moving to game news, apart from the champion stickers and souvenir charms, the only significant update is that voice chat is now enabled during map pick phase in Premiere mode. I see this as a relatively positive change. Now onto the pro scene. The upcoming $1 million Fisher Playground tournament has its group decided as shown on screen. The tournament will not begin for another week as we still are in the off-season. In other news, transfers have continued this week. Reason Gaming has acquired the entire roster from M1. Ents recently accused of this squad of cheating, which makes the situation a bit controversial. Navi announced the promotion of Makazi from the junior squad, but has yet to announce who he will replace. Furia has signed Yakinda on a permanent deal. G2 are reportedly in talks over signing Matthias from Fnatic. Cello has made a return to Imperial from Furia. Hades has departed from Monty. Nilo completes the heroic roster. Jame returns to Paravision with Kirket making way. NRG benches OC and Hex for Nosrak and Zotic. Styko has been benched at Inner Circle. Wildcard make 2 roster changes that will see them remain in the EU region. I am still open to skin donations, and a reminder to join my Discord. Please like, share and subscribe. On that bombshell, that was all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.